I'd like to introduce Fiona from England, who takes LDN for fibromyalgia. Good morning, Fiona.
Good morning.
Could you tell me when you first started to notice your fibromyalgia symptoms?
About 4 years ago, after I'd had back surgery, I came back from Indonesia with what they thought was viral reactive arthritis, but after seeing a specialist, I was diagnosed with the fibromyalgia.
Right. And how old were you, Fiona?
Oh God, what am I now? 47.
Okay, and how did that impact on your life being diagnosed?
Pain, just indescribable. I couldn't do anything. When I first went down, my whole body was affected. I couldn't even walk. Couldn't do anything. The pain, the whole body. It's like having flu everywhere, but it's not just the joints as with arthritis that's the pain. It's all the bits in between. And
Yeah.
it's just the whole body is just a massive pain. Well, I wanted to end it. I'll be honest with you.
Really? And what about fatigue? Was that also a big problem?
Yes, I mean, even now I don't sleep very well, but I'm a lot better than I was.
Right.
But I couldn't sleep at all. Night times are the worst with something like fibromyalgia, because once you lay down and everything settles, everything sort of, just starts throbbing. It's not a pleasant condition.
No. So at that time, if you had to rate your quality of life on a score of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would it have been?
Probably 1.
Right.
It was that bad. And unless you've actually got it, you can't really describe just how bad it is. I mean, I'd had back surgery, major back surgery. I got metal bars and things put in my back, and the pain with the fibromyalgia was far worse than the surgery.
Right. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how did you hear? Sorry. Carry on.
Well, I couldn't walk. My feet were the worst. They were really bad with my feet, because it was all in all the joints. You get out of bed in the morning, it feels like you're spraining your ankles every time you move. And in fact, one of the things they did for me is they sent me to a podiatrist to have things put in my shoes to help with the walking. Unfortunately, they gave me ones that tilted my feet out. So in the space of about 6 weeks, I had 6 sprained ankles. So then because it overcorrected them. So then I had to call for physiotherapy as well. So it's sort of not a lot of luck, actually.
What about brain fog? Did you have that problem?
Sorry?
Brain fog.
Brain fog?
Yes.
I think, yes, but I put that down to old age. But I do find that I do get very confused. I'll start sentences and forget what I was talking about. But I've taken to keeping a notepad with me now, which is a bit sad at my age. But and I write things down, because otherwise, I just forget.
Yeah.
I hadn't realised at the time that was one of the symptoms of the fibromyalgia. I just thought it was just getting old, to be honest.
Ah, okay. So how did you hear about LDN?
My doctor put it on to it, Dr. Harvey. He's one of these progressive doctors. I'd had a drug called Targanat for a while, but that is something that I didn't really want to take because it's very addictive. And I had managed to get off of that. I was also on several other drugs, painkillers, anti-inflammatories, which I managed to come off of. And then about 6, 7 months ago, maybe a bit more than that, the fibromyalgia had another flare-up, because it is one of those conditions that does every so often sort of calm down, and you think, oh, that's okay. But it does come back, and when it comes back with a vengeance.
Right. So when you first started LDN, did you notice any introductory side effects?
There were no side effects, no, and it took about 6, 7 weeks for it to start kicking in. But it really has made a difference to my life, I have to be honest.
What did you notice when it first kicked in?
The pain is gone. I can. Some days I don't have anything. I still have problems at night, but that's. I'm sleeping better, but it's not having the pain in my feet, and because I don't have the pain, I haven't had any sprained ankles for ages either, which is another blessing. So I did think about 5 weeks ago that it was getting bad again. I wondered if perhaps there was something wrong with the batch. But it turns out, after seeing my doctor at the end of last week, on top of everything else, I've now got tennis elbow.
Oh, right.
As soon as I described where the pain was, because I said it was different to the pain that I'd been getting, and so I've now got support from my arms. So. But as for the other thing, I mean, apart from night times when I get the cramps, I mean, I can't believe the difference it's made. I mean, it really has made an awful lot of difference. So I really think it's the way to go, to be honest.
What about sleeping? Is that any better?
Whereas I used to sort of lie awake most of the night, I usually only get up about 4 or 5 times now. Whereas before it was sort of every 20 minutes. I'm sure the clock used to go backwards. I just wasn't sleeping at all.
Oh,
but it is definitely getting a lot better.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been taking LDN now?
This must be my 4th batch. I've just got a new batch now, so for about 5 months.
Right, so it's still quite early days for you.
It is still quite early days, but there really is a really big difference. It's not even a slight difference. I keep trying to tell myself, is it because I'm going through a good spell? I've also, to help things along, I've lost a lot of weight as well, which takes the pressure off. But I do think that since I've been on this medication, the difference is really, really noticeable.
So what would you say your quality of life is now on that scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, I'd say it's more like an 8.
Wow.
This time last year, I've got allotment sex. I had to give up work in September because it got so bad. I couldn't take the pain anymore. Last year, I couldn't even pick the strawberries in the garden, and this year, I'm doing so much more. I'll admit it takes me a lot longer to do things, and if I don't sort of rest, which I'm supposed to do in between, I do suffer, but I can do them, which is which makes a difference. So I've actually got a life now, basically.
And I can remember being able to set myself goals and thinking, right, this is what I want to do today, and not being able to do it, and you just end up feeling such a failure, don't you? But if you can...
That is the worst thing. You feel guilty. You sit there crying because you feel, what's the point? Because you feel stupid.
Yes.
And that sounds silly, but you do. You feel stupid. You feel useless. I'm embarrassed. I don't know why I feel embarrassed, but I feel embarrassed because I can't do things.
Yes.
When I see people, 20, 30 years older than me doing things that I can't do. But I do think that it has, it's really made a lot of difference, especially in the last, 3 months. And this last month in particular, it's just made so much difference, so much more I can do. I can take the dog out for longer walks. I couldn't do that last year.
And to your self-esteem, it really does give you such a boost to be able to achieve things, doesn't it?
Well, it does. If you feel better, you get on and do things, and it does. It is. In some ways, it is a mental thing. You're right. It's just so much difference. You're a lot more optimistic. You think, maybe there is a future.
Yes. And what would
before, I thought, what's the point?
What would you say to other people with fibromyalgia who are thinking of trying LDN?
I'd say try it. I know that they say there are side effects. Sometimes it can affect your liver, which I have had a test because they do tend to do that, but that came back okay. I know it is a very small dose anyway.
That's right. It's only found to be harmful to the liver in doses of 300 milligrams a day.
Exactly.
So, you're never going to take anything like that, are you? So.
No. I'm lucky. I've got a progressive doctor. Who will try things. So I just think it's just made so much difference, and I think people who suffer with this fibromyalgia, and I think with MS, because I think it helps people like that as well. I think you've got to take a chance. I think anybody who's in that much pain will be willing to take the chance.
Yes.
And you've got to be prepared to know that it'll take nearly 2 months to kick in. Some people it might kick in a bit earlier, but it definitely does make a lot of difference. Like you say, quality of life, that's the important thing.
It is, isn't it? Where you feel that you'll be able to engage with others.
Sorry.
But if you, I can remember a time where I just felt the days were just slipping past, but I wasn't actually contributing. I was just an observer. I wasn't
and it's difficult when you've got family as well. My sons are luckily that much older. My youngest one's just got married, actually. So, and the middle one, he's just got engaged. The eldest one's already married. But it means, I was getting to the stage that when they have children, and I've got grandchildren, am I going to be able to play with them?
Yes.
I know, you think about things like that.
You do.
But no, the difference to the quality of life, having a life, being able to go out and do things, having the choice again, whereas before, they say that you shouldn't sit down too much when you've got a condition like fibromyalgia, but then again, you shouldn't do too much. It's easy for people to say, but unless you're actually in that pain, and unlike things like arthritis, your joints don't swell up because it's not the joints, it's the bits in between, so to speak. and it's not something you can see. And unfortunately for me, with the back as well, that sort of added to my problems.
Yes.
But things are better. I think I actually think there is a future now, whereas before I didn't think there was.
Well, thank you very much, Fiona, and I really do hope that your LDN continues to improve for you, and you have some grandchildren soon you can play with.
Do you have the same problem? Do you have fibromyalgia as well?
I have MS.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know
That's
somebody
okay.
who's got that. Do you find it helps you?
Very much so, and I've got a grandson who's here with me now, who's waiting for me to play with him.
And I've got a dog who's going to have a bath, which I wouldn't have been able to do on my own last year. I mean, luckily she's a big dog, so she just stands there. But
Good.
Okay, well, I hope it continues to do well for you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.